Before we dive into these palace blueprints, a quick warning. What you are about to hear clashes hard with what we have all been taught about the 18th century, and once you notice it, you cannot unsee it. Look at this chandelier from Versailles, officially dated to 1745. Now look at the ceiling around it. No electrical wiring, no visible gas pipes, no candle smoke damage, and no real explanation in any school book. What if the grandest palaces of the 1700s were using a form of wireless energy that we are only starting to rediscover now, and that whole chapter was quietly erased? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going after something that has been hiding in plain sight for 300 years. Have you ever walked through a historical palace and thought, how did they actually light all of this every night? If you have ever had that thought, remember it, because what you are about to hear makes the official story look very shaky. Let us start with numbers that simply do not add up. The Grand Trianon at Versailles, built in 1687, 32 massive crystal chandeliers. Each one weighs over 500 pounds. The official story says that all of this was lit by candles. Here's the problem. To properly light one of these chandeliers, you would need roughly 150 candles. That's about 4,800 candles burning at the same time in just one wing of the palace during a big event. Each candle lasts 4 to 5 hours at best. That means staff would be replacing around 5,000 candles every single night there was a major gathering. You're talking about 10 to 15 people climbing ladders non-stop right in the middle of royal balls and dinners. Does that sound realistic to you? Now think about the paintings and descriptions of those events. The chandeliers are lighting huge halls with clean, steady light. No heavy flickering, no visible smoke layer near the ceiling, no blackened vaults, no servants constantly in the background changing candles. The official story here doesn't just have a few holes, it starts to look physically impossible. And it gets stranger. Let us look at what architects and restorers have been quietly puzzled by for decades. Copper domes. They're everywhere in 18th century architecture. The Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, Les Invalides in Paris, palaces in Vienna, Berlin, Prague, London, Washington, D.C. Textbooks wave them off as decorative, but look at how they're actually built. Thick copper coating, which is an excellent electrical conductor, very specific geometric ratios in dome height and radius, connection points that lead down into the building, always placed at the highest structural points, often with layers at the base that look a lot like insulation. This doesn't just look like decoration, this looks a lot like infrastructure.
There is more. Those domes are frequently connected to elaborate metal spires that run down through the building in ways that make no sense if they are just ornament. Unless, of course, they are meant to conduct something. Now let us return to the chandeliers. Restoration teams who have worked on original pre-1800 chandeliers keep noting strange details. Crystal prisms cut to very precise geometries, metal frames made of brass and copper, sometimes with gold plating, elements that look like quartz embedded into the decorative parts, and in the oldest versions, almost no soot or wax residue at all. On paper, this is just decoration. But to anyone with an engineering background, it starts to look like a tuned device. Several restoration reports from Central and Eastern Europe mention chandelier internals that resemble capacitor-like structures or resonant cavities. These descriptions rarely make it into public-facing museum texts, but they do appear in technical notes and professional talks. Even people restoring these chandeliers are quietly admitting to each other that this does not behave like a simple candle holder. These are not just pretty objects. They look and feel like sophisticated apparatus designed to capture, tune, and convert something. Before you dismiss this as impossible, let us talk about something mainstream education barely touches: the 18th century obsession with atmospheric electricity. It was not just Benjamin Franklin with a kite. That is the simplified, school-friendly version. There were other names. Prokop Divish, a Czech priest and inventor. In 1754, he built an atmospheric electricity machine. His device reportedly powered small mechanical devices and experimental lights in his parish. Locals thought it was sorcery. The installation and church later suffered mysterious damage by fire. Abbé Nollet, a French cleric who demonstrated electrical phenomena at Versailles for King Louis XV. He experimented with collecting and storing atmospheric electricity and had open access to palaces for his experiments. George Matthias Bose, a German scientist known for spectacular electrical displays using atmospheric collectors, he was invited by elites and worked close to major construction projects. These were not fringe madmen in a shed. They worked with royalty, inside the very palaces we are talking about, exactly when all these anomalous features were being built in. Now here is a plausible model based on known physics and visible architecture. It is a hypothesis, but it fits a lot better than just candles.
Step 1. Atmospheric harvesting. The copper domes and spires behave like massive antennas, collecting atmospheric electric potential. The Earth's atmosphere has an electric field of about 100 volts per meter. At 50 meters of height, that is already several thousand volts of potential difference, especially in certain weather conditions. Step 2. Grounding and collection. The spires do not just hang in the air. They often connect into deep, complex foundations. Buried metal grids and plates in the ground that are excellent for grounding and charge exchange. Underground chambers with stone and metal shells that could act like capacitors or resonant cavities. Water channels beneath the building, and water is a known element in older electrical experiments. Copper piping and structural elements running through walls. Officially, this is all just foundation and drainage, but the combination looks suspiciously like a collection and storage system. Step 3. Distribution. Now the chandeliers. If you stop thinking of them as candle trees and start seeing them as receivers and transducers, everything suddenly clicks. Crystal prisms resonate at certain frequencies. Metal frameworks form natural circuits. Their height and position in the room align with nodes in the field. The huge surface area increases coupling with ambient fields. The building as a whole could behave like a tuned electrical instrument, and the chandeliers would be the speakers or lamps of that system. Step 4. Illumination. Do you always need visible wires to get light? No. Nikola Tesla showed this clearly in 1891. He lit fluorescent tubes wirelessly using resonant induction. No direct contact, just tuned fields.
Crystal is piezoelectric. Under certain electromagnetic influences, it generates electrical charge. The same principle is used in modern crystal oscillators and many sensors. Now imagine a large-scale piezoelectric resonance system in a palace hall. Is it really that crazy to think that the crystal chandeliers might have been doing more than just looking pretty? Now here is where this stops being a local curiosity and starts looking like a global system. Map out palaces and major domed structures with these features. St. Petersburg, Paris, Vienna, Prague, Berlin, Stockholm, London, Madrid, Washington, D.C. They form a pattern. Distances between many of them fall into a similar range, close enough to suggest they were not just randomly scattered prestige projects. It is tempting to see them as nodes in a larger energetic grid, using the Earth itself and the atmosphere as the medium. Add to this the fact that many of these places have documented underground tunnels and galleries connecting them to other structures. Officially, they are escape routes or storage, but when some of those tunnels are lined with brick and metal, run in improbable straight lines, and sit exactly along geometric axes, that starts to look a lot more like infrastructure than storage. If something like this existed and worked, why is it completely absent from modern education? When did it disappear? Look at this rough timeline. From the 1750s to the 1770s, there is a peak of palace construction with domes, spires, and crystal systems. Atmospheric electricity is a hot research topic. Dozens of researchers are working on it. In the 1780s, there's a gradual shift. Some electrical research is branded dangerous or heretical. Certain experiments are restricted and discouraged.
From the 1790s to the 1810s, large-scale renovations of palaces take place. Original features are removed, domes altered, underground chambers filled or sealed. From the 1820s onward, gas lighting is introduced as the revolutionary new solution. Any previous large-scale illumination methods vanish from descriptions. Very convenient, is it not? Archived records from different countries mention removal of earlier illumination apparatus during renovations. They mention repurposing of dome interiors. They mention sealing of underground rooms. They mention confiscation of technical notes related to old lighting systems. Most of this is described in dry, bureaucratic language, but the pattern is clear. Something was taken out, replaced, and then gradually forgotten. We do not have to believe in one giant global conspiracy to see that powerful people would have strong motives to phase out any technology that threatens centralized energy control. Why would anyone want to bury a working, almost free energy system? 3 words: control, profit, power. If any city, any building with the right architecture could harvest atmospheric electricity, who loses? Candle and oil industries. Later, coal and gas industries. Later, electric grid monopolies. The entire industrial economy grows on selling energy and controlling its distribution. A decentralized wireless system undercuts that at the root. Even if a lot was removed or hidden, not everything disappeared. Original pre-1800 chandeliers share design elements that look suspiciously optimized for resonance. Repeating geometric patterns, carefully weighted crystal layouts, metallic skeletons that form real circuits. Some engineers and physicists who examine these pieces, often in restoration contexts, have publicly said that the internal geometry feels more like apparatus than random art. Restoration notes from different palaces repeatedly mention useless-looking copper networks in walls and floors with no clear function in normal architecture. Yet copper is not cheap. If it was purely decorative, it would be visible. Hidden copper is seldom about looks, it is about function. Ground-penetrating radar and construction work around old palaces keep revealing underground chambers, aligned shafts, and geometric layouts that never appear in official blueprints. If all of this was just ad hoc cellars and storage, why the strict geometry and conductive materials? When you start overlaying plans from Paris, St. Petersburg, Vienna, and Prague, you see the same structural grammar, similar ratios between dome, hall, and foundation, repeating placement of key elements, consistent use of certain shapes. It is like finding the same circuit board layout in electronics from different brands. You do not get that by accident. That is standardized technology. Now fast forward to Nikola Tesla and his Wardenclyffe Tower. His core ideas were simple and radical. Use elevated conductors to tap atmospheric and earth potentials. Resonate the earth to distribute power wirelessly. Use tuned receivers to convert that into usable energy. Sound familiar?
Tesla openly studied older texts and architecture. He spoke about ancient knowledge of wireless transmission and wrote that practical wireless power would be as ancient as it is revolutionary. Not discovering, but remembering. Maybe he was not alone in that thought. Maybe he was trying to rebuild something humanity once had on a massive scale. So what do we really have here? Palaces whose lighting logistics make no sense with pure candles. Clean ceilings where there should be heavy soot. Domes, spires, copper and crystal arranged more like an electric system than random decor. An 18th century scientific obsession with atmospheric electricity. Renovation waves that quietly remove or seal critical structures. And a later industrial system built entirely on selling you what might once have been almost free. Is this absolute proof? No. Is it enough to seriously question the official story? Definitely. Next time you step into a palace or old cathedral, do not just stare at the gold. Look at the chandeliers, look at the domes, look at the spires, look at the way everything is aligned. Ask yourself one simple question. Were these really designed for dripping wax and smoke, or are we standing inside the hollow shell of a forgotten power grid? If this made you think, share this with someone who loves history and tell me in the comments which palace or city I should investigate next. Stay curious, stay questioning. History is written by those who control the power. Maybe it is time we start taking that power back